What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome on in, each and every one of you brothers out there, you siblings, you family members. Maybe you're an artifact. I don't know. But I welcome you in. It's holiday time, right? We're getting closer and closer to time to be around with the family. We all have that sibling, that brother, that aunt, that uncle that we fight with. They get into it with somebody. It happens every year. This year, this week, it happened to us in Brothers War Dominaria. That's where we've been this week. Hello everyone and welcome into the show. This is Hunt the Week. It is your weekly Magic the Gathering podcast about the Arena Gauntlet League that we know, love, and play in. I am your host with the most, your Don John DeMarco, your Goku or Go Home, the Pride of Mardu. I am a 4-time top 8er, a 2-time league winner, and one time I went 5-1 and just really enjoyed playing Magic. It was a good week for your boy Goku. We're going to get to it in the next segment. But we got a lot to talk about here, okay? As I record, and I'm a little early, it's 5:25 on Wednesday. I'm not sure how busy I'm going to be tomorrow, so I'm just going to get this done a day early. Sorry, you got to deal with it. If you get a 5-0 tomorrow, I'm sorry. Message me, and I'll make it right. Zach Carr 5-0'd on week 1 or week 2 after I recorded, and he sent me a message. He said, hey, I 5-0'd, and you didn't get it. And he knows it's because I already recorded. But we're going to get to the 5-0s. We're going to get to all of it as we spin the wheel.
Everybody knows how to spin the wheel.
Let's go, wheel! Give me a miracle.
It's so simple.
Spin the wheel!
And again, I'm recording at 5:26. The wheel has been spun for this week. As I record, there is hot discussion, hot debate, and we are going to get to it in a minute. But first, let's talk about our top 8 for Foundations League, a.k.a. Plains Chase. In number 1, first place, Lotta Birdie, as they call her, 16-3, holding that match. Is she going to play? Is she not going to play? I don't know, but she had a 5-0 on the week. That's got to be Lotta's second 5-0 this tournament. And that, boy, does that feel good. Getting 2 5-0s, you have put yourself in a spot, in a place at 16-3. Where, man, you're really looking good to make top 8. And I'm rooting for you, Lotta. After we had our wonderful meeting up in Canada, the glorious days, the star-filled nights up at Cody's cabin. Who could forget AG Con? Up next, MNF Sepulcher, 15-4. Daniel G. Frisky Hobbit, 15-5. Max K. Lenender, 14-5. Jordan M. J. Mtron, 14-5. Miranda L. Black Canary, 14-5. DeWitt K. Seething Octopus, 14-6. Here's the thing. I feel like I've been saying these names every week. Like, is the top 8 changing here at all? Here's one new player in there. Richard K., a.k.a. Preacher, 13-4. Looks like he took Raph's spot. But yeah, I want to say the top 8 has not changed. Is not changing. We're 3 weeks in, and I've been saying these names pretty much this whole time. So I don't know what that's about. I saw some people saying that they thought that the starting pools were just like the good starting pools are just going to run away with it because punishment packs have been weak or have felt weak from these planes compared to Foundations, which I think is funny because before Foundations came out, of course, everyone's saying it's a core set, it's weak, it's bad, it's a core set. You know I love core sets. I'll talk about it forever. And I guess that's a really good point. I don't know. I mean, I've opened a lot of packs, so I do feel like I have upped my deck. But I also got lucky and had some really good opens. I'm playing a lot of rares and mythics, not a lot of uncommons and commons that I opened up. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about that that's making that happen. I mean, it's also just a lot of really good players, right? Like these are. I mean, a lot of these players are usually in the top 8, top 16. So maybe that also has something to do with it. 5-0s on the week was Lotta. And then Chris D, Stereo Lab. And we do have a 5-1. I don't know when we stopped greening the 5-1s, but it's cool. But, I mean, they did get 5 wins, so we will shout them out. That's John P. Goku or Go Home. Let's talk about my Magic Week. If you listen to the show, if you're a fan, and you are, it's why you're here. Last week I said I had to go 4-1 or better to go to the next week. And I was sad. I was disparaged. 4-1 to go to the next week in week 3 for Goku, your boy, 4-time top 8er, 2-time league winner, 1 time almost gotten out in week 3. But it didn't happen. Actually, Lotta built me a deck. Have Lotta build your deck. That's what I've learned. Lotta built my deck. I went 5-1 with it. Things great. I love it. I love the deck. It's playing so many. I opened so many good rares and mythics on Eldraine, and I'm playing like 9 of them or something. I opened a lot. I opened that double rare was very helpful. But my mana base is terrible, and I'm just going to lose to my mana base at some point. And I only have 1 loss, and then I'm out. Which I was going to go 4-1 and hold my game. Realized there's no point in holding your match once you're on 10 losses. So I did play my last game and squeak out a win, making it into week 5, planning my death match with Cody as we speak. Get excited for that. But we have spun the wheel for the next week. We know what plane we are going to. We're going to a familiar plane, a recent plane. We are going to Bloomborough. And I'm sure you remember Bloomborough. I'm sure you love Bloomborough. 3 Tree City. All comeback packs are from Bloomborough. League decks must contain no humans. No human cards in your deck. And this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm seeing. This is either really bad for you. Like this is, I have to change my deck. I really need to rethink some things. I'm losing 6+ key cards, good rares, strong uncommons that my deck really depends on. Or this deck does nothing because you lost a bunch on Kaldheim, you got a bunch of giants, you lost a bunch on Eldraine, you got a bunch of fairies, you lost a bunch in Foundations, you got a lot of elves. This is about the color pairs. What color pairs are you playing, and do they have a lot of humans in them? Really, are you playing white? You playing white, you playing black, you playing red. I'm sure there's a lot of humans in those colors. You playing green? You probably got a lot of elves. You playing white? There's probably some angels in there too. But I feel like this is this either hurts a lot, and this is that deck building restriction that people have been clamoring for. Or this is, like me, I got 2 humans. They're the 4/3 flyer, 3 blue. Blue is a splash. I get those cards stuck in my hand a lot. I actually feel really good about taking those cards out for the week, just throwing in some other things. So for me, I'm losing 2 cards, and they're not cards. They're there because they draw a card when I cast them. So I feel good because, again, I really like my deck, and I'm not really changing much. But I'm on my last loss, and I don't know. This is an interesting week. There's a lot of discussion right now on the server as I record at 5:32. Some people saying, oh, bad, this is real bad. This is really bad for me. Some people saying, no, nothing. And then a lot of debate of, what's a human? What if I cast a human token? Changelings are not considered humans, which I'm not going to argue about, but they're humans. And you don't wish board for humans. If you got humans in your wish board, technically your sideboard, just don't cast a human. It's kind of what we're saying. No humans in your deck. Don't cast a human. Although I would love to see a screenshot of if someone can get a human on the battlefield somehow, some way. Does witness protection turn something into a human? Turns it into a businessman. I don't know. Then there's some tokens. Lovestruck Beast. You get your 1/1 human. Heroic Reinforcements. Get your 1/1 humans. This looks fun. This looks like it's going to be a fun week. Bloomborough is also a really fun set. Powerful set too. It's not a set I enjoyed. We'll see how it plays. Because it's not going to go along with a lot of the synergy we already have. If you were, a typal synergy, an angel, an elf, one of those things from the places we've been. Because there really isn't any of those. It's animals. It's a lot of cute animals. But powerful cards, and if you just care about like certain mechanics, like having a bunch of 1/1s going wide, you can go wide here. You can go fast. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a cool one. I hope people enjoyed the Dominaria week. This looks like it's gonna be another interesting week and a fun card pool to be thrown into the decks. Right. This is gonna be interesting. this is going to see. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens here, and I don't know. I wish I could have talked to my guest about it this week. I recorded this week before Wednesday, so they don't know what set it is. But let's go ahead and see what other opinions they have as we figure out where we are.
Blimey, Inspector. Where have we wound up this time? The question isn't where, Constable, but when.
Now, of course, we know where we are. We are on Dominaria, en route to Bloomborough. Do we turn into animals when we go to Bloomborough? Has that been covered? I think we do, right? We all turn into animals now. Pick your animal. Oh, do we get the animal? Oh, man, do we get... I got to change my icon back to a frog. I guess I'm back to a frog. Anyway, this week I got on a fellow content creator, a fellow John, and someone who's doing good in their league. It's his second league with us. John D. Draft Daily has a YouTube channel where he posts draft videos. Recently, he's been posting a lot of league videos. John was awesome. John was great to talk to. Super nice guy. Knows a lot about Magic. And what can I say that hasn't been said? And looking for his first top 16, possibly top 8. So join me as we listen to my interview with John now. All right, everyone, join us this week as we figure out where we are with none other than John D. Daily Drafts. Welcome to the show, John.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me. Great to be here.
Oh, I am so happy to have you. I'm real excited. I see your name up there in the top 16 right now. What, you got an 11-4 record? Looking pretty good so far, John.
That is where I currently stand. Lots of league left to go. It is only halfway for me, but we will continue to take what I've been given recently.
Yes, if you can just keep going as well as you are, there's gold in your future, my friend. I'm rooting for you. But I want to know first, before we get started, when did you start playing Magic?
So it all began in the summer of 2018. For me, I was actually on a friend's trip with,
Nice.
I don't know, maybe 10 or so of our friends just staying at a lake house in Michigan. And one of my friends just went to Walmart to grab some groceries, and they came home with some welcome decks of Magic the Gathering cards.
Ooh.
And they were like, "Hey, we got nothing else to do. You want to play some Magic?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." Sure, why not? We learned how to play over the weekend with some welcome decks, and the rest is history. I don't think I've ever closed the TCG Player app on my phone since then.
What set was that? What was your first set of Magic? Do you remember?
So I think the welcome decks included cards from like Ixalan, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, kind of.
Okay.
And the first set that I ever drafted was Dominaria, the original Dominaria,
Nice. And
which I guess released in summer-ish of 2018. And I only drafted that set one time. And my first pack one pick one was Goblin Chain Whirler, red. And I was like, this is like a very popular standard card, right? It's got to be great. And then I learned that building mana bases is important.
it was a great standard card. It was like a $20 card or something. It was a nice little money card. No, maybe.
At that point, I didn't know what was worth anything. I mean, I was just like, this is shiny and it's got a silver thing at the bottom of the card. I guess that means it's good, right?
But so hard to get red to work in draft. By the time you're getting red, it's like turn 6, turn 7, and Goblin Chain Roller is not doing a ton at that point in the game.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, it did not go well in the draft as we went to 03.
Oh no, and you never drafted it again. You said, this is the one time. I'm never coming back here.
I think it might have actually lined up that was the second to last or last week of Dominaria, and then I believe the next set after that was Guilds of Ravnica, which is Guilds and Ravnica Legions were like my two first like real sets that I drafted probably at least 5 to 10 times each.
Yeah.
So
those are some fun sets. I love drafting blue black in Guilds. Oh my gosh, so fun.
Yes, that is a good one. Good old control deck.
Well, have you what made you go to drafting? Like, so you play these welcome decks. But what made you want to be such a draft? I assume drafting is your format, your daily drafts. Or do you play standard? Do you play legacy? What are your formats?
My format is draft.
Nice.
Do not put a standard or a legacy deck in front of me. I'll tell you that right now. I despise constructed MTG.
Yep.
So it's all about draft. I even, sealed is bordering on the line of constructed for me that I don't like as much. But it's still much more enjoyable than me having to build a 60 card or 60 card deck
Yeah.
in some sort of constructed format. But I don't know what really got me into draft to start, I guess. I mean, I actually have a little bit of a history with fantasy football.
Okay.
For the fantasy American football, for those who know what that is, and those of you that don't, it's American football. We get to kind of like sit down and for lack of a better term, draft players to our team. And then throughout the course of the entire American football season, those players accrue points for you, and you match up against other members of the league, and then you go to the playoffs, and so on and so forth. And I've been doing that for almost my whole life, and I love drafting. And then when I found out that drafting was a possibility in Magic, I was like, oh, let's go to this draft night. And then I drafted the aforementioned Chain Whirler deck. It went horrible, and I said, I can't get enough of this. And I came back over and over and over again.
That's awesome. From fantasy football to Magic the Gathering,
Exactly.
drafting your way to the top. And here you are in Plains Chase League, and we got to start talking about Plains Chase League. You're 11-4. You're having a good league. What's helping you get there? What's helping you do well so far?
I would venture to guess. Now, this is only my second league. My first league ever was Duskmorn,
Mhm.
and I was 9-6 going into week 4, or yes, week 4, and then finished with an 0-5, 9-11 record. So I fizzled out of that one pretty quickly. But I don't know exactly what it takes to get into a top 8 of a league, but I'm figuring out so far that if it's anything like how my league has gone so far, it is a lot of luck. I will say that. I've had
It is a lot of
multiple
luck.
opponents take some mulligans. I've had, some very nice top decks at particular times. I wouldn't consider myself particularly amazing at Magic. I think I'm slightly above average personally, but a 9-1 over the course of 10 matches in my last 2 weeks of the league is, I can't say I have any idea why I think I'd be doing that, because my deck only has, I think, 3 rares in it. So,
Wow. Well, hey, maybe some of it is that play though, right? Yeah, the above average play coming in. You do have to play to those top decks and everything too, right? You need to put yourself in these situations and take care of it. What rares are really standing out for you so far?
so I started the pool with one, and I can never say this name right. By the way, it's such a tongue twister. Sear Slicer Goblin.
Okay.
I started out with one of those and a Krenko. Um,
Crank will do
and
it.
the Krenko, up until very recently, hasn't done much for me. But
Mhm.
in one of my first comeback packs, I opened a second Sear Slicer Goblin.
Ooh.
So now, without my deck list in front of me, I think I've got 2 Sear Slicer Goblins and a Krenko. And if I'm not mistaken, those might be the only rares in the entire deck.
But hey, those are some good ones, and a bunch of goblins getting together. I definitely every time I see a Krenko, I panic a little bit, right? Like I need to have removal, and if I don't have removal, we're drawn. We're drawn as fast as we can, and we're racing. That's the thing. You can't race Krenko. You're gonna lose that race.
Yeah, absolutely not. I call it the removal check. It's just you play it, and if in 2 turns they haven't killed it, then it's usually just fine.
Yep. Then usually you're gonna take over. You're gonna make a million 1/1s, and just watch out for that Aetherize. Oh, that'll get you.
Oh my goodness, yes, that certainly would.
So is there a plane, or did you enjoy Eldraine? So Duskmorn was we're going through the haunted house. We've got the Valgavoth matches. Now we're going from plane to plane, set to set. A little different. How are you feeling about the mechanics of this league?
Well, I suppose I wish I might have participated in the league a little bit more in the last 2 weeks because I haven't actually visited Eldraine or Kaldheim very much. No, all jokes aside, I am 9-1 in the past 2 weeks, so I just feel like I'm just kind of playing this red-black deck over and over and over again and beating it into the ground until, I get a comeback pack that gives me 1 common that I can play, and then I put it in there, and then I go on another win streak. It's all it's been so far, but I do enjoy the concept of the league, and I am very happy that we haven't planeswalked to some of the planes that I see available on the sheet that we could have gone to. So it's been very tame so far.
Yeah, it's
Just a little bit of a play on comeback packs, which is fine,
Mhm.
of which I haven't had a ton. But once it comes to these planes with deck building restrictions, oof, that sure might test my skill.
those are really fun, and it's fun because everyone's in the same boat, right? Like everyone has to deal with what is thrown at them, and some people, like if it's Brawl Week, oh man, I hope you got a really good legendary creature because if you got like one of the really really good ones, you're kind of set, and if you don't, yeah, you can make it work, but it's just the people with the good ones, they're gonna have a really really good time.
Yeah,
That's
let's hope we don't go to one of the super involved ones, and it continues to be the ones that are just like, oh, you can choose one of these two comeback packs, and I'll be like, okay, I'll do my best to avoid those as I have been.
Yeah, I mean this one's pretty good actually. I think it's Bro or Dominaria this week. So you either get a pack of Brothers War. Are you familiar with Brothers War? Do you do a lot
I
of
am
drafting
familiar
of
with
that?
Brothers War. That is one I have drafted.
Not a bad one. Artifact bonus sheet, so multiple rares. Um, Not the most powerful set, but not an unpowerful set. Or an extra pack just for fun to look at from your good friend Dominaria sitting around hanging out. You like 4 or 5 hexproof turtles, John? Because they're there. They're
Yeah,
there.
couldn't say it fit into my deck, but you know what I could open is a Chain Whirler.
Oh, and you know what? If you open a chain roller, would you play it? If you're red, it's a
I
goblin,
don't think
right?
I could fit it in now that I know about how to build a mana base. I don't think I could do it.
I really hope you open chain roller now. Oh my gosh, it would be. I really want to see that pack get rolled. Um, that I've really been liking the planes. Unlike you, I spent a lot of time on Eldraine. I was really dipping my toes in and grabbing every pack I could. This week, I got through mostly unscathed, although I did get a nice little choice. And I'll give you. I know you haven't played your matches yet. I'll give you a little spoiler. The Dominaria packs are really underpowered. They have not been too exciting. There's definitely stuff to hit, but man, they're pretty much a no contest. Even though the pro packs I've seen haven't been like too crazy, I'm sure they're out there.
Interesting. I do remember Red Aggro being one of the better decks in Brothers War Limited, of which my deck in the league currently is. So maybe I could pull out some of those red aggressive cards. You never know.
Hey, not the worst place for you to be losing on if that was definitely the case.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about your content creation, your daily drafts. You've got the community adjunct tag on the server. You've done some content creation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it started about 3 years ago here now, and I realized that at that point, which I guess was fall of 2021, I was drafting almost every single day on
Nice.
Arena. So I was just finding myself drafting, and a couple of my friends were just like, "Hey, why don't you just like throw these on YouTube?" And I was like, "I mean, I guess I could do that. I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just drafting. Why don't I just talk through my decisions?"
Hmm.
And I was, at that point, I was in, like I said, a slightly above average player. At that point, my win percentage in limited was about 57%. So it was pretty decent, not anywhere in the 60s like some of the more prolific content creators nowadays, but
Sure.
it was good enough. I was like, yeah, what if I just throw some of my drafts up here on YouTube? And that's what I did. And honestly, I do it for fun. It's not that I'm paying the bills with my YouTube content creation, but I enjoy putting the content out there and for whoever likes to watch it. It's pretty much it.
How often are you uploading and putting out new content or your drafts?
Yeah, so actually right now you've caught me in the midst of a little bit of a transitory period on the channel where Monday through Friday I'm putting up each of my Foundation's Gauntlet League matches as
Oh,
individual matches, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, one for each day of the week. And not actually posting any individual Foundations drafts, partially because I made a little bit of a strategic decision thinking that the community in general might not be the most interested in Foundations drafts. So I wanted to try something a little different. And selfishly, I mean, at the end of the day, the content creation has to be a little bit selfish because you have to enjoy what you're doing.
yes.
I'm enjoying the league a little bit more than I was Foundation drafts. So I'm just posting those instead of the draft. So at the current time, it's 5 days a week, one each day for about 20 to 30 minute videos, depending on how long the match lasts.
And what's the channel name? Where can people find you on YouTube?
It's called Daily Draft, just like it is in my username in the Gauntlet League server.
That's awesome. So go to Daily Draft Monday through Friday. You can watch along. We're all here enjoying the league. What if you got to enjoy someone else's perspective, right? Like, take a look at John's deck. He's in the top 16. He's looking to make a run to top 8. This could be a great little chance to get inside his mind a little bit and look at this deck in action. See this Krenko come down and start spitting out some goblins.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I am trying to think of when the next scheduled videos are, and I think if you tune in starting, I don't know exactly when this will release, but starting Monday the 9th, very shortly you might see a little bit of Krenko.
Ooh, he's coming out. This should come out this Thursday. Usually Thursdays, if I have my things together, is when the podcast come out. And I agree. That's the thing. Like I'm not making podcast money here, guys. I'm not retiring on AGL Hunt the Week. This is all for fun. It's a good time, and it's like if I wasn't enjoying this, I wouldn't be doing it. You do it because it's fun, and also that's what makes Johnny a good creator, right? He's doing what he likes to do. He's having a good time doing it. That's what makes it fun to watch. I don't want to watch somebody doing something because they think it's going to make them rich or because they feel like they have to. You do it because you enjoy it. Then and that's what makes it a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I started at some point through the 3 years of the journey of content creation. I was like, oh, what if I got really clickbaity with some YouTube shorts and
Yeah.
some, top 10 videos and stuff. And then shortly after creating those, I was like, this is kind of miserable
Yeah.
because it requires 10 times more editing than it does to actually create the content you're trying to create. And I didn't get into this to sit here and edit all day. I got
Yeah.
into this because I enjoy Magic and was enjoying drafting Magic, not sitting here and trying to tell you about some infinite combo in Brothers of War Limited that I'll never assemble.
Oh, okay. I want to hear about those chain whirlers, John, and when they come down, I really want to see this pack now.
Absolutely.
I love this next question. I ask it to everybody. It tells me a little bit about your play style, about what you like to do. What is your favorite Magic card?
So, this might be a little bit of a cop-out answer, but in general, in my life, I find it very difficult to pick favorites in anything, especially when there are over 20,000 options
Yes.
in the case of Magic cards. So I've narrowed it down to three for you, and I can give you
That's fair.
reasoning as to why.
That's fair.
So one of my first ones is Mayhem Devil from War of the Spark. Whenever I think
Oh.
it's a player sacrifices a permanent, it deals
Ooh.
1 damage to any target.
Yes, that's a good
I
one.
love aristocrat sacrifice style of decks. My deck in AGL right now is a black-red, not exactly sacrifice deck. I've got a couple hungry ghouls and involuntary employments, but that's kind of like a side quest within it. But I just love those kind of aristocrat-y, getting triggers all over the place kind of decks. And
Yep.
Mayhem Devil was one of the early cards in me playing Arena. I think War of the Spark came out in about 2019.
Yeah, sounds
One of
about
the
right.
early times of me playing Arena where I was like trying to build decks around this one card. So that was a lot of fun. Um, I'll also go with Hamlet Glutton from Wilds of Eldraine,
Ooh,
a little bit more recent,
okay.
specifically because in Wilds of Eldraine Limited, blue-green was regarded as like the absolute worst archetype.
Yep.
17 lands had it like below 50% or something. It was
Mhm.
kind of wild. And I was wheeling Hamlet Gluttons like day after day after day. And I was like, I mean, you're going to give me a Hamlet Glutton pick 11, I'll take it.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
actually, played blue-green dozens of times over Wilds of Eldraine and maintained over a 60% win percentage and trophied multiple times with blue-green. So Hamlet Glutton just like has this place where it's like, okay, well, playing Wilds of Eldraine, I guess I'll just take all the Hamlet Gluttons. So that was a fun card in my past a little bit. All of which those videos are still up on YouTube if you want to go watch some Wilds of Eldraine videos.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And the last one I'll say is Killian Ink Duelist from Strixhaven, which is I believe it's the black-white uncommon. I couldn't even tell you what it does, and the reason it's one of my favorites is because Strixhaven, I believe, was a set on Arena prior to Premier Draft. It was all Quick Draft, is that correct? Or were there Premier Drafts on Strixhaven? Do you remember?
I bet you're right because that was a long That was a long time ago. That was my first league was Strixhaven, so it was like 3 years ago. I want to say it was before Premier Drafts, or like maybe they had just come out or came out during. But that sounds right because that was before when you could only bot draft. It was early Magic Arena.
Yeah, so whether it was bought or not, whoever I was drafting with, computers or humans, were wildly underdrafting the Silver Quill, the black-white archetype
Hmm.
in Strixhaven, and I identified that really quickly, and I just spammed and hard forced Silver Quill over and over and over again. And I actually reached top 50 Mythic on Arena by doing so
Wow.
because of how open the deck was. And I was passing cards that nobody has any business passing in limited. I'd open I'd open some insane blue rare and then just like take the white one drop because it was so open. But I rode it all the way to at the time I think they were doing things where if you were like top 100 mythic at the end of the season, you qualified for some sort of like play pro tour play-in thing over
Sure.
the weekend. And
Yeah.
I actually from that qualified for it and then promptly bombed out of standard that weekend because I had to make a blue black rogues deck. But
That's just always
you
how it
know,
goes. I'll complain about that forever. It's like I don't want to qualify for standard tournaments with limited tournaments. It's dumb. I mean, I know
absolutely.
I know it's like, it's the Pro Tour. You got to play everything. It's like, I get that. Sure, fine, whatever. But limited player, let me play limited. Like, there are limited Pro Tours too. Get me on one of those, like,
Yeah.
and
Well,
it's,
there were limited pro tours, I think, at
yeah,
one point, maybe
yeah, back when it was,
back before my time.
Killian Ink Duelist, one white, one black. Lifelink 2/2 Menace. Spells that you cast that target a creature cost two less to cast.
There you go.
Uh,
And it's still my avatar on Arena to this day for that reason.
Then that was a fun set. That's a fun archetype, especially when your spells start casting less and you start learn lessening, getting into some cheap spells. Yeah, that's a good time. I like these answers, John.
Awesome.
Well, we asked the league for questions. They did not disappoint. Are you ready for your league questions?
Let's go.
Our first question from Raphael F. Prudent. Do you really draft daily?
Well, I kind of answered it already a little bit, but pretty much, yeah. Almost every single day I'll do a draft. I draft most standard set releases, and not standard, but most limited set releases on Arena, probably between 30 and 50 times, I'd say each.
Nice.
Which maybe comes out to slightly less than one a day, but if I have time in the evening, I'll usually just fire up a draft or so. I started the channel with the name Daily Draft, obviously, because it's kind of a fun alliteration on a name.
Hmm.
And my original intention was to post daily drafts, and I was doing so for quite a while. But it's really hard to justify spending, including editing, 3-4 hours a day
Yeah.
posting content for 3 years when you don't necessarily get the ROI on it. So, I switched over to sometimes 3 times a week posting drafts or sometimes 5 times a week and mixing in other content here and there. But to answer the question, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, now drafting foundations coming off the. You say you're not a big fan of foundations. Did you like Duskmorn? Were you a big Duskmorn fan?
Yeah, I was a Duskmorn fan. I actually do. I enjoy Foundations draft. I'm under the impression that the community as a whole, maybe not
Hmm.
necessarily just the AGL community, but the Magic community, for those that aren't relatively new players, might not enjoy Foundations as much, which is why I chose to not necessarily put it up on the channel as much. But I've been having a great time with Foundations draft myself. I've found a lot of success with blue black control with Dreadwing Scavengers. I played a lot of black white.
Yeah.
I've assembled the infinite combo with the
Oh yeah.
the Conqueror and the Marauding Blight Priest and all sorts
Nice.
of things. My next on my list is to hardcast a Progenitus. We'll get there, don't worry.
I just want everybody to remember this is a good set. This is a fun set. This is a core set. Next time there's a core set, let's all remember how fun the core sets are. This is a good time. But yeah, people are down on foundations, or they were. I think people think it's all right, but I don't know that it's getting the respect that I think it really deserves. It's a great time. Our next question comes from Eric S. Smitty, not Smite. What are some positives and negatives about making AGL videos compared to other Magic content?
Yeah, so the positive is that I enjoy it more. And like I mentioned, when creating content, you have to like what you're doing, as I've experienced over 3 years. So now you just can't go into it thinking that you're just going to be like, oh, I'm going to be totally fine creating this random commander video or this random legacy video when you have effectively no knowledge or care at all about the format. So right now, I'm enjoying the AGL a ton, and I enjoy putting it up there. The negative of that is that the views on the channel have gone down since I've been doing that. But like I said, I'm not in it watching my view count every day because that's just not how you have to go about this as a healthy individual. So I guess that's the con of doing it. But if I continue to enjoy it, and even once Pioneer Masters comes out, if I'm still in the league or not, or whatever, or once Ether Drift comes out next spring or winter, I mean, if the league is garnering more of my personal attention, that's what's going to go up on the channel.
I like it. I like it. He posts what he enjoys. I can't wait for Pioneer Masters. I know you are actually in the Roto with me. How are you enjoying your Roto draft? Is this your first Roto, or did you do one before?
This is my second Roto. Foundations was my first.
Nice.
And boy, did I learn a lot from that. My first like 5 picks were all 5 or more mana.
Oh yeah.
And then I ended up with like 2 removal spells, and they were the bad ones. And I had Llanowar Elves in my deck, and I played. How many matches do you get in Roto? You get 7 matches.
7,
So
yeah.
I played a minimum somewhere around 14 to 20 games, and I never once drew Llanowar Elves.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, oh, perfect. I'll Llanowar Elves into Loot the 1/4
Yeah.
where you can pay 6 and tap and get a creature.
Mhm.
I'll Llanowar Elves into that, and then double land, and then cast my Sire of the Great whatever's
Hmm.
7 mana crazy thing. And no, then Beggin Blue Dirk over there just beat me down with flyers, and Vorbis took me down with red white aggro quite quickly. So
It'll happen.
that was my first. So this time I actually had the first overall pick in a Masters set, which I was not happy about. And I sat there for probably literally hours deciding what to first overall pick.
Uh-huh.
And maybe you can play along a little bit at home for those of you that haven't looked at Pioneer Masters. Go ahead, take a look at the spoiler and see if you can find some clear first picks. Spoiler alert, I didn't. So I was like, if you can't beat them, join them. So my first pick was Anax and Symede, which is a 3-mana red-white gold card that cares about heroic and pumping your entire team. So my thought, and we are somewhere around 13 rounds in right now, was
Yeah.
I'll take red-white aggro, and hopefully everybody else figures out that's where I'm going to try to be. So stay out of my lane, and it's going relatively well so far.
I think you have one of 2 strategies in Roto. Or either you pick one color that is like, you find where it's like, okay, they picked black, they picked red, they picked blue, I am green or white or something. And you pick that color, and you stay in that color for as long as you can until you decide what else to do. Or you do what you did, which is you stake your claim right away. You go, I'm red white. If you want to fight me on it, we'll fight over it. But if you don't want to fight, don't come near this, and like it has been working out. Like no one's really gone after the red white stuff, and the deck is scary looking, John. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll see how it goes. I already have over twice the amount of removal I had in my first Roto, so hopefully that ends up paying off for me.
Our next question comes from Miranda L. Black Canary, the Great Watcher. What is your desert island cheese? AKA you're stranded on a desert island. You only get to have cheese with you. What cheese you having?
First of all, I'm not upset that I only get to have cheese with me, so that is great. But it might be a boring answer, but I'll go with cheddar cheese. I'm not much of a soft cheese fan, so things like, what would that be? Blue cheese, brie cheese, all that kind of stuff. Not so much a fan of those, but I feel like I could just like eat into a block of cheddar as if it's an apple. So I would be totally fine with just having some cheddar cheese with me on an island.
I love that answer. I mean, who hasn't just had a slice of cheese and gone to town? Our next question comes from Evan C. Peas of Crab. In your journey and growth as a content creator, what changes or milestones are you most proud of?
So I think the thing I'm most proud of and the most fun I've ever had as a content creator is I actually had access to the early access events on MTG Arena for
Oh,
about a
awesome.
year or so.
Really cool.
Yeah, I had it for March of the Machine, Lord of the Rings, Wilds of Eldraine, and Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And the day I received that email back from Wizards saying that I got approved for early access was like the coolest day of my life. And then
Yeah.
like 3 days later in March of the Machine, I was playing against Foxy and Sam Black and
So cool.
just, Mr. Metronome and Lord Tupperware of Lords Unlimited and all sorts of, I was just playing against everyone that I had watched before. And I was like, I'm now part of this. And it was the coolest thing I had basically ever experienced. And unfortunately, one thing that changed with it, not without getting too political, about a year ago, Hasbro announced that they were going to cut a lot of the Wizards of the Coast employees' positions.
Yeah.
And one of the positions that was cut was the community manager at the time, who was in charge of coordinating and programming and doing everything with these early access events. And I don't know if you guys remember back to Karlov Manor, but there wasn't an early access event for Karlov Manor. And let you behind the scenes a little bit on this for those of you that don't know how this ended up working. There wasn't one because they didn't have a community manager at the time. They replaced the position in some form or fashion and then rebooted early access events for the next set, OTJ, after Outlaws of Thunder Junction, after Karlov Manor. And whoever or whatever is in charge now decided that they wanted to make it an incredibly exclusive event, to the point where those that are participating now have many, many complaints that they have to wait 10, 20, 30 minutes for a draft to fire because
Yeah.
it's so exclusive. And I was unfortunately not invited back to those early access events, but it is what it is, and I can't control any of that kind of stuff. But the time
Yeah.
that I had it was just so much fun, and I enjoyed all of that so much. I did some streams. I managed to stream on my channel
Oh,
and have
so
over
cool.
hundreds of viewers watching me stream against, Voxy and playing Blue Green and Wilds of Eldraine, actually, and things
Jeez.
like that.
Yeah, it's huge,
Um,
huge bummer. I remember when those events were they were around a lot, and then they even went away for a little bit, and then they came back, and they I feel like they've never really been the same since then. But it's so cool you got to be a part of that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It cut into my pre-release time, I'll say that, because I got the early access and then I was like, well, do I really need to go to pre-release now? I've already drafted this set 8 times. So I didn't get to do that as much. But the other thing is obviously getting to the magical number of subscribers on YouTube, which was 1,000 at this point. Because when you reach 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is when you're able to monetize your channel,
Yeah.
which is kind of every, small content creator's goal is to reach 1,000 because they think, oh, monetization, that means I'm gonna start paying off everything I do, right? Well, no, but still reaching 1,000 was a fun goal to reach just because, I think everyone, as I got closer and closer in the 700-800s, I think people started realizing that, oh, let's help them out and get over there. And I think when I got to 700 or 800, it just shot up to 1,000 within like a few weeks. It was kind of
That's so
crazy
cool. Oh my
at the time. So
gosh.
that was a lot of fun at that point too. I can't remember when I think it was about a year and a half ago now,
Hmm.
that I hit 1,000. So
Wow, congratulations. That's so cool.
thanks.
Our next question comes from Richard K. Preacher. Top 3 ice cream flavors.
Well, I'm glad that you told top three and not favorite, as proven by my previous answer here. So I'll give you three. Anything cookies and cream
Oh, great
is
answer.
up there for me. Oreo, cookies and cream, stuff like that. My local ice cream shop has a peanut butter Oreo flavor
Ooh,
that I
I
can't
love
get
that.
enough of. Yeah, that's a really good one. And then I'll get a little specific for my American listeners, Bluebell, for those of you that know Bluebell. It's got to be Bluebell. Banana pudding.
Ooh, I know Bluebell. I've never had a banana pudding ice cream.
It
That's
is
fascinating.
it is quite good. I don't really like banana pudding like as a dish. which I'm also now realizing is deeply Southern American.
Yes, it's very much.
But Bluebell is an American brand, a Southern American brand from Texas, and I don't know how far they reach in the United States, but if you can get your hand on some Bluebell ice cream, highly, highly recommended.
Now, is it just a? I'm curious now. Is it just a blended banana pudding, or are there pieces of like banana and wafer in it?
There are pieces of wafer. I don't think there are pieces of banana, but I know there are kind of like chunks of
That's what I
graham
wanted.
wafer.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Good.
Our next question: if Chris York, our great overlord and tournament creator, all hail Chris York. If Chris was to organize a content creator cup side quest, what format would we both like it to be?
Well, depends on how many of us are involved. Is the assumption just the two of us?
I think you said content creator, so that would be like me, you, Richard. There's a few other people. I'm sure they could get together 8 people if they really had to. So let's say it's a side event, 8 person, but you choose the format.
I get to choose the format. Well, I guess I have leaked all of my insider information about what's it called, Strixhaven draft. So I can't force Silver Quill against you guys. I've also leaked all my insider info about Wilds of Eldraine draft, so I can't force Blue Green. So what can I do here? All that I would ask, and I think I would leave this question up to others that would want to have input, is that there's absolutely no constructed involved whatsoever.
Oh,
It is entirely a draft format.
I like it. Of course, I don't want to play constructed. Don't make me play constructed, Chris York. I'd say I want a cube. Give me some kind of cube. Give me either a high powered or better yet, very weird and obscure cube. I haven't been able to do one of these 100 ornithopter drafts. They look super fun. I'd like something weird like that. If it's content creator, make it something flashy for the content. Or like mono red cube. That sounded really cool too. Like one of these weirder cubes that I keep seeing and keep not having the time to do. That's what I want it to be. So also I could just do it. I haven't had time to do it. I want to do those.
Yes, I would also be not opposed to some sort of cube as well. I do love cube drafting.
Oh, cube's so fun. I love it. And whenever it's on Arena, it's like all I want to do. And then I do terrible, but I can't stop. It's just so fun.
I know. You take what looks fun and then you realize that people took other fun things that
Yeah.
also just beat you. So
What do you mean I can't get to 9 mana and do my fun stuff? What kind of format is this?
yeah.
Next question comes from Keelan T. Dufel. Favorite card that deals 4 non-combat damage to a target. This is so weird. I wonder if there's only one specific card and he's trying to goad you into it.
I wonder if there's a card in mind. Now, I went to Scryfall and I typed in
Yeah.
Deal 4 damage. And there were over 300 choices. So, many choices to choose from.
Way to go.
And my limited brain went ahead and chose the best card, I think, in my time since 2018 of limited that deals 4 non-combat damage to something. And that is Flame Spill from Ikoria, which is 3 mana, 1 a red and 2 colorless for an instant.
Ooh, I love that
That deals
instant.
4 damage and effectively has trample. Deals the excess damage to the player's controller.
Oh yeah, that's fun. I remember being at 3, having like a 1/1 on the field, and you just die. That's a good time. Oh, you can try to kill your thing in response if you can to like not die.
I know, right?
There, that's a good one. Good choice. Our next question comes from Wesley C. Gigavoltaic. Favorite non-limited format? You say you're a limited player. Do you ever dip your toes into anything else? Ever?
The only thing that I even remotely try out sometimes is Commander. A little bit. I have one Commander deck and I've played it like 4 times, maybe. And that is about all I would do. I've tried some constructed formats, such as like Standard and things on Arena, and I despise the play pattern of constructed. I can't. So I also do my daily quests on my account
You
to
got
build gems and gold and things,
Sure.
so I can go infinite drafting. Well, I have to play standard to do that, and the amount of cut downs that have been cast against me, and the amount of go for the throats that have been cast against me is more than one human should endure in their lifetime. I put together just the cringiest of cringy mono red aggro decks, and if a Shieldred gets resolved, I concede. If a cut down is cast on turn one, I usually concede. If I'm on the draw and they put a monastery Swiftspear on the battlefield, I concede. I hate constructed, but I do play commander, and I have one deck, as I mentioned, and it is a Gavi Nest Warden deck for you commander players out there. I believe it was a precon
Okay.
way back in Ikoria, but I put my own little touches on it. It's the cycling commander.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it replaces the first cycling effect you do each turn for 0 mana. So it's built all around that and drawing multiple cards in a turn, and the entire deck costs, I think, including the commander and the mana base and everything, around $30 US, which is what I'm proud of, because commander can also creep into the expensive territory, which I don't have the budget to play.
No, who can? I mean, I can't keep up with constructed. I definitely can't keep up with commander. No, thank you. Although I love the pre-constructed commander decks. I think those are for people that do play commander, don't play commander. They're always a great place to start. You get to throw your own little twist on them and upgrade things you want, but they're usually like really nice out of the box. I'm a big fan of the pre-constructed commander decks.
Yeah, and they've gotten a lot better over the years too. I haven't played some of the recent ones, but I've heard that, I mean, they're actually somewhat competitive right out of the box nowadays. So,
and again, they're not hard to upgrade. There's so many cards. So they release so many cards every year. They can't all be expensive, right? There's got to be some cheap ones out there.
yeah.
This is our last question. I love this question. I thought about it long and hard. I don't know the answer to it. I'm hoping you can help me, John. It's another Wesley C. Gigavoltaic, the greatest furry on the server. If you put a magic card in hot water, is it tea or is it soup?
So you say you don't have the answer to this, right?
No, there is no. He didn't DM me and say there is a correct answer to this. This is a philosophical pondering for us.
I think I objectively have the correct answer.
Okay.
So the dictionary defines tea as a hot drink made by infusing the dried, crushed leaves of the tea plant in boiling water.
Okay.
And it defines soup as a liquid dish with things in it, potentially, but a liquid dish.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, because a magic card is not dried, crushed leaves of the tea plant, it has to be soup, doesn't it?
It must have to be soup. It really, wow. Here's the thing. I don't want it either way. Either way, I don't want to consume it. So I don't really care. But
well, we were never asked about consuming it. We were just asked what dish is plated in before us, right?
Dish is, if I put a magic card in hot water, is it tea or is it soup? I just have so many questions for him. Like, you're placing it in hot water. Does that mean it's in a kettle or is it in a pot? Because I think that's important. Is it in a bowl? Is it in a mug? You don't serve me soup in a mug. This is really more about presentation, and I think you're right. I think it's a soup. I don't want it to be a soup because I feel like a soup is something you cook over time and have more than one ingredient in. To me, that's a soup, but it's also definitely not tea, right? Like you said, by dictionary definition, it's not crushed tea leaves. You know, you can't just soak something in water and call it tea. If I put coffee grounds in water and let it sit, is it tea? No, it's coffee. It's got to be soup. It's got to be
I think the
soup.
more pressing question is what card is going in our liquid?
See, that's another
Because then
thing.
maybe the answer changes.
Oh, if there was a card that was like green tea warden,
I was about to say, yeah, or maybe Pro T and Hulk or something
Oh
like that. I'm
yeah,
not exactly
there's
sure.
oh Wesley, you got to tell us what card was supposed to be in the water because there also is like there's soup cards too, right? Like there's cards that talk about soup. So hot soup, that's a card.
How
Uh,
about Asma Radarandica Coldikar or whatever? She makes soup on the card or whatever, right?
I wasn't gonna try it. I wasn't gonna try it,
I
Sean.
got close. I wasn't even looking at it for all of you listening.
Well, John, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to thank you for making time. I want to thank you for being a part of the server, and I want to wish you luck this week, Mr. 11 and 4, currently top 16. I hope you make your first top 16 and maybe your first top 8 here when things are all said and done.
That would be great. I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed my time in the server, even though it's only been, at this point, maybe a month or two, but I feel like I am fully ingrained and have almost met many of you in real life, even though I haven't, and I've been drafted with many of you, played multiple matches with many of you, and been on voice chat during matches with many of you as well. So it's been a great time, and I've enjoyed all of it.
One of us, as they say, one of us, John.
Yes.
It's a great time. It's a great place to be. We're happy to have you. Good luck out there this week.
Thanks.
Again, John's super awesome. Check out his YouTube channel. Give him a subscribe. And he's doing AGL content. So you know what? If you're listening to the podcast, if you're the kind of person that listens to the podcast and enjoys it and likes it, if you're Eric, Smitty, not Smite, if you're Zach C, Zach Carr, just go check it out. Go follow it. Go watch his games. I'm sure you can watch him play some people that we know, maybe some new people, and he's doing great. So I don't know what's going on with that deck, but I bet it's fun to watch, and it sounds gross. It sounds like there's 1,000 goblins coming at you, and it sounds really mean. And that's my deck couldn't do that. My deck could not handle Spear Splicer 2, Krenko on 3 or 4. It's just, no, I'd be if I don't have stab. Oh, that game's done. That game is over. And I'm really looking forward to Bloomborough. I actually made it. Now I can't lose a game. I got to go 5-0 to get to week 6. This is a deck that could do it. This is a really good deck. I'm upset. Not because I started and I'm not doing so great. My 05 week, I couldn't be where I am without it. Added a lot of stuff to my deck. But I do feel like I was playing the wrong deck for too long. And that's something that I can struggle with in League. And it felt like the right deck at the time. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know when to switch. And I don't know. Sometimes you just go too far, right? Like you get stuck playing a deck, you think it's the right build. That's why I always like to ask other people to give me their input and, talk builds, like ask people who you think are good players, people whose opinions you respect. And then, take a crack at their build. And it's good friendly banter talking to people on the server. Hey, you like this card? Yeah, but what about that card? Or I don't know, my mana base is too bad to support this. Maybe you should try X, Y, and Z. It's a nice community thing. We help each other out. You're not doing great? I'll take a look at your deck and I'll give you a build. I've done it to a few people this league. I can't tell you it's going to be the best or the greatest, but I can tell you that that's what I see. And you take that information, you do with it what you will. And I hope you get to take a good 7, because that's what this week is going to be all about. Week 5, on our way to week 6, soon to be crowning a champion of Foundation's Planechase League. And I hope that shuffler is in your favor, because if you draw a human, you're going to be in trouble. I don't care how it got in your deck. It shouldn't be there, right? Like, no humans, no thank you. And you gotta draw the right cards at the right time. You gotta keep a good, you don't want to keep that 2-lander. And then, okay, I got my Strix Lookout. I'm gonna be, tapping it and looting to that next land, and then it dies. And then you don't draw a land. And then you don't draw a land. You need that shuffler to help you out. You need a little luck on your side. Listen to what John D said. A little luck goes a long way. And we'll see everybody here next week as we turn into cute, fuzzy, furry little animals. Bye, everybody.